They say that if you happen to come across a woman gently combing her hair by the riverbank, bathed in the soft, silvery glow of the moonlight, an ancient legend begins to awaken nearby. A legend whispered through the ages about the enigmatic Mami Wata, the elusive guardian of hidden secrets and shimmering mysteries that lie deep beneath the starlit heavens. This figure, cloaked in an aura of mystery and magic, is known to hold the power of the water and the night, weaving stories and mysteries that ripple across the surface of the world, just as the moonlight dances on the gentle waves. Draped in soft, shimmering silk that moves and cascades like liquid in a gentle stream, her presence is both mesmerizing and mysterious. Her eyes, deep and captivating, draw you in effortlessly. They hold within them a complex mix of emotions, a gaze that carries both the intoxicating allure of promise and the sharp edge of warning. Those eyes act as a magical bridge to realms beyond ordinary understanding, hinting at secret wonders and treasures that have never been seen or spoken of, inviting you to explore a world rich with unknown possibilities. Kwame discovered that he was completely immersed in an extraordinary underwater palace, a magnificent structure encrusted with vibrant coral that shimmered with the gleam of gold and scattered jewels. This enchanting realm stretched endlessly before him, a place where the troubles and burdens of the human world melted away, replaced instead by a profound silence and breathtaking beauty that seemed to pulse gently with the rhythm of the ocean itself. It was as if every worry, every moment of stress, dissolved effortlessly into the serene surroundings, weaving only a peaceful calm in its wake. Before he had the chance to utter a single word or even let a whisper escape his lips, she melted away, vanishing into the very essence of water itself, as if becoming one with the flowing, endless currents. The world around him fell into a profound silence, a heavy quiet so complete it seemed to engulf him entirely, leaving no trace of sound behind. Darkness crept in, enveloping him completely, wrapping around his being like a suffocating shroud woven from shadows and shadows alone. This moment, this transformation and the stillness that consumed him, forged an unbreakable bond, a legend etched into the fabric of his existence, forever binding him in its haunting, eternal grip. In a small, peaceful village nestled along the winding banks of the mighty Niger River, the villagers often gathered around fires at night to share tales that had been passed down through generations. Among these stories, none were told with as much reverence and awe as the legend of Kwame, a fearless and skilled fisherman known far and wide for his courage and unwavering spirit. His life was deeply intertwined with a mystical and captivating force, the enigmatic call of a goddess, whose voice echoed through the river's gentle currents. Accompanying her alluring summons were radiant, shimmering gifts that sparkled like stars on the water's surface, weaving a spellbound connection between the mortal world and the divine. These tales of Kwame's adventures and the goddess's mysterious blessings resonated deeply within the hearts of everyone in the village, inspiring awe, wonder, and a sense of timeless magic that seemed to flow with the river itself. Kwame's fishing nets, which had once hung empty and lifeless, were now brimming and overflowing with a rich bounty of fish, glistening and thrashing in their newfound abundance. Luck had finally turned in his favor, showering him with prosperity and promising days of plenty. Yet, beneath the serene surface of the river, there lingered a subtle, almost imperceptible murmur, a quiet warning carried by the gentle current. The river seemed to whisper softly, hinting at an unseen cost, a hidden price patiently waiting to reveal itself in the shadows beneath the calm and shimmering water. Every gift she presented came accompanied by a price, an unseen cost waiting patiently to be claimed. Her touch was both a beckoning embrace filled with hope and a veiled threat that reminded all who sought her favor that nothing in this world is ever truly free. Gold and jewels glittered and shimmered with a dazzling brilliance just beneath Kwame's small boat. Treasures far surpassing the wealth of any earthly king or ruler. These radiant riches seemed like the very embodiment of untold prosperity, a bounty beyond the wildest dreams of any mortal. Yet, despite the alluring spectacle of such precious abundance, Kwame's heart trembled within his chest, filled with a quiet unease and subtle fear. He wondered deeply, what was the true cost, the unseen price, for receiving such a lavish gift of overflowing grace? Her smile remained unwavering, a captivating enigma that blended eternal beauty with an undercurrent of silent menace. It was a smile that held secrets deeper than words, a mysterious riddle frozen in time, both inviting and foreboding. "Do you dare accept my gift?" she whispered softly, her voice barely more than a breath, yet charged with an eerie power. As she spoke, she seemed to weave invisible threads of destiny, together in a pattern only she could discern, binding those who listened to an unknown future. Kneeling down on the rough, uneven ground, a mixture of reverence and fear flooding his chest, Kwame swallowed hard and tried to steady his shaking hands. He understood, with a weight that pressed heavily on his soul, that this was far more than a simple bargain or a casual agreement. No, what he was about to enter into was a pact, a binding, profound promise that stretched far deeper and darker than anyone could easily comprehend. It was a commitment as mysterious and unfathomable as the hidden currents flowing through the river's blackest, most secretive depths, where light never ventured and secrets lay buried beneath layers of cold, relentless water. Kwame's wealth continued to increase steadily over time, and with it, his residence grew more magnificent and imposing than any other house anyone in the region had ever laid eyes on. Its towering walls and luxurious furnishings set it apart as a symbol of unprecedented prosperity. However, despite this impressive display of success and opulence, faint murmurs began to circulate quietly among the people in the bustling marketplace. These hushed conversations suggested that behind his glittering fortune, there were darker secrets and unexplained dealings. People started to suspect that his riches might be intertwined with dubious activities, casting a veil of suspicion and unease. The atmosphere around Kwame became tinged with an undercurrent of mistrust, as if shadows lingered just beneath the surface of his dazzling wealth. Standing alone beside the dark, winding river, Kwame's reflection shimmered uneasily on the water's surface, twisting and blurring with every ripple. The sparkling hope he once held so tightly now slipped away, dissolving into an overwhelming silence that swallowed the night whole. A cold, unsettling chill crept through the air, wrapping around him like the thick, clinging mist that hung heavy over the water, refusing to let go. From the swirling mist that hung heavy in the air, Mami Wata gradually emerged, her figure shimmering like a mirage. Her eyes, deep and enigmatic, held a gaze that was utterly unreadable. No flicker of emotion betrayed her thoughts. Yet, there was a chill in that stare now, a coldness that ran deeper than the waters from which she came. She stood there, both protector and arbiter, a guardian of ancient power and secrets, silently watching over those who dared to approach her in hopes of receiving her precious gifts. In that quiet, mist-laden moment, she became a solemn judge, weighing the worth of each seeker's soul with an impartiality as vast and fathomless as the depths she called home, all in the utter stillness of watery silence. The treasures before Kwame glittered and sparkled as if pulled straight from the realm of dreams, their radiance captivating and surreal. Yet despite the dazzling display, a deep unease stirred within Kwame's chest, making his heartbeat quicken with a strange mixture of awe and apprehension. This was no simple stroke of luck or fleeting fortune. Instead, the vast bounty laid out before him had been shaped and secured by forces far older and more relentless. Ancient laws carved in stone and time, unyielding and unbreakable. This treasure was bound not just by chance, but by enduring, unrelenting rules that had held their power across countless generations. A grand palace, exquisitely crafted from shifting patterns of light and shadow, standing proudly before him. Yet as he watched, the once magnificent structure began to dissolve and crumble, swallowed slowly and inexorably by the relentless pounding of vast, rolling waves. The dazzling beauty of that palace, with all its brilliance and intricate detail, was dragged under the surface, disappearing beneath the endless tide. This powerful image became a poignant symbol for him. How even the most breathtaking creations, no matter how radiant or seemingly eternal, could be submerged and lost, sacrificed to the unstoppable currents of time and the inevitable weight of consequence. As the first light of dawn stretched slowly across the horizon, casting a pale golden hue over the landscape, Kwame desperately gasped for air, his chest heaving with strained breaths. Every fiber of his being clung fiercely to life, fighting against the overwhelming force that threatened to pull him under. Yet despite his struggle, the relentless river's grip only grew stronger, its cold, unyielding waters tightening around him with cruel determination. In this moment, his destiny became irrevocably entwined with the river's dark, unfathomable depths, sealing his fate forever within the watery abyss that refused to let him go. "More is what you shall have," she whispered softly, her breath a gentle caress as she leaned in close, so near that the warmth of her presence brushed against the skin. Her words, delicate yet heavy with meaning, were a paradoxical gift, both a blessing and a burden wrapped in mystery. They lingered in the air between them, a tantalizing promise that stirred the depths of desire and dread alike, an invitation that chilled the bones even as it ignited the mind with an irresistible yearning. With a hesitant step, Kwame slowly turned away, his heart pounding with a mix of uncertainty and unease. A small, sharp thread of fear nestled deep within him, clinging tightly like an unwelcome companion. He found himself wrestling with the question, what exactly had he bargained for in that moment? Where, he wondered, with growing dread, did the bright promise of fortune truly come to an end, only to twist and dissolve into an encroaching darkness he could scarcely comprehend? Night gently drapes itself over the river, wrapping the flowing water in a deep, soothing silence that seems to hush the world around it. The darkness spreads like a soft blanket, concealing the landscape beneath its quiet shroud. Within this stillness, the spirit of legend stirs, alive and shimmering in the pale, silvery light cast by the moon hanging high above. The moonbeams pour down, delicate and luminous, illuminating fragments of ancient stories suspended in the night air. These tales, rich with mystery and wonder, drifts softly on the gentle breeze, destined only for those who possess the courage and curiosity to truly listen and feel their presence. The night, the river, the moonlight, and the whispered legends together create a timeless moment, inviting the attentive soul into a world where silence speaks and history lingers on the edge of perception. The tantalizing allure of sudden fortune and the unyielding, often cruel hand of fate. His journey became more than just his own. It transformed into a somber lesson, a cautionary example for anyone tempted to stretch their reach beyond what seems possible or reasonable. Through his experiences, the villagers reminded each other, and any ears willing to listen, that striving too far or wishing too hard could come with consequences sometimes dire that were not worth the price. Kwame's story lingered in the air, a quiet, steady warning to all who dared chase after dreams that lay just beyond their grasp. The gifts shimmered and sparkled with an almost magical brilliance, shining like a dream delicately woven from the soft, murmuring whispers of a gentle river. Their allure was undeniable, drawing the eye and tempting the hands to reach out eagerly, grasping at the promise of wealth and fortune they seemed to offer. Each coin they touched carried more than just monetary value. It bore the heavy burden of destiny itself, a weight that pressed down ever more insistently and heavily as the piles of treasure grew. With every grasp and every glittering piece claimed, the sense of fate's unyielding hold became stronger, weighing on the soul with greater intensity, as if the very essence of chance and consequence rested in the shimmering treasures now held tight. Beneath the gentle, ever-shifting ripples that danced across the water's surface, her watchful eyes remained steadfast and unwavering, never once faltering in their vigilant gaze. She was the quiet guardian, the keeper of all waters, both serene and tumultuous, moving with a silent grace that betrayed no hint of fatigue or distraction. Invisible to those who only glanced briefly, she wove intricate destinies and subtle fates through the currents, guiding and shaping lives in ways no mortal could perceive. Her presence was eternal, timeless as the flowing rivers and vast oceans themselves, forever intertwined with the secret stories carried beneath the waves. Darkness completely swallowed Kwame, wrapping around him like a suffocating shroud. His desperate screams were muffled and swallowed up beneath the water's surface, disappearing into a chaotic symphony of rising bubbles. The river held him firmly in its grasp, its powerful flow wrapping around his body without mercy, unrelenting and cold. It was as if he were trapped inside an invisible cage made of countless shimmering chains, each one gleaming faintly under the faint light filtering through the murky water, binding him tightly in a prison that offered no escape. What price will this enigmatic waterway ask in return for granting even a brief taste of fortune's elusive and transient favor? Far beneath the surface, nestled within vast gardens that shimmered with vibrant coral hues and lustrous gold, there stood a magnificent palace that radiated an otherworldly, almost ghostly light. This glowing beacon, unlike anything ever seen before, cast an enchanting yet unsettling glow that seemed to hold within it both the hope of wondrous possibility and the shadow of lurking danger. Every sparkling facet of the palace's intricate architecture reflected this dual nature, signaling to all who gazed upon it that here was a place where dreams and threats were inextricably intertwined, a place filled with both radiant promise and hidden peril. Once he was known simply as a humble fisherman, casting his nets into the endless sea with unwavering patience and quiet hope. The village looked upon him with modest regard, a man content with the simple rhythms of tide and wind. But time, fate, and perhaps a touch of destiny conspired to elevate him far beyond his beginnings. Today, he stands revered, crowned as the king of the village, a figure of respect and admiration whose every word carries weight and whose presence commands silence. Yet, despite the grandeur and splendor surrounding his rule, beneath it all, in the deepest recesses of his heart, there simmers a persistent silent dread, a gnawing fear that all this fortune, the wealth and power he has gained, might one day slip away, turning from shining gold into cold, worthless ash. "No gift comes without price," she murmured softly, her voice barely more than a whisper that seemed to hang in the still air. With hands that did not tremble, she extended the jewel towards him, each movement deliberate and full of unspoken weight. Her eyes met his, dark and steady, weaving invisible threads of fate so intricate and tangled that no one could hope to untangle them fully. The jewel gleamed faintly in the dim light, a beacon of both promise and peril, carrying with it the heavy cost of what was to come. The river, shimmering like a flawless mirror, reflecting the countless stars scattered across the vast night sky, gently holds within its flowing depths a multitude of carefully guarded secrets. These hidden truths are carried along its current, soft whispers of promises exchanged and deals struck, both honored and betrayed, all unfolding beneath the gleaming silver glow of the moon and an unending expanse of darkness that stretches endlessly into the night. Torn between the powerful pull of desire and the oppressive weight of dread, Kwame felt his heartbeat pounding violently in his chest, echoing like thunder in a storm. The promise of great wealth beckoned to him irresistibly, calling out with the seductive allure of a siren's song. Beautiful, enchanting, and impossible to ignore. Yet beneath that alluring melody lay a cold, penetrating chill that whispered of hidden dangers and unknown costs, casting a shadow of fear over the bright gleam of fortune. The conflict within him raged fiercely, balancing on a knife's edge between hope and fear, excitement and caution, the temptation of riches and the daunting price they might demand. She disappeared as quietly and effortlessly as mist dissolving into the early morning air, leaving behind only delicate ripples that shimmered with an undeniable sense of power and a hint of hopeful promise. Yet those very ripples she left in her wake traced mysterious, winding paths, roads that wound through shadowed territories and hidden corners, roads that only the brave or the desperate would dare to venture down, daring to explore the unknown and confront whatever lay beyond the familiar horizon. What began as nothing more than an ordinary, unremarkable catch has now transformed into something truly extraordinary. A miraculous fish that seems almost touched by the hand of fate. It stands as a powerful symbol, a tangible token representing mysterious, unseen forces quietly at work beneath the surface. This fish holds the enigmatic power to unlock doors that have long been sealed shut, doors guarded by the depths of ancient waters and the soft murmur of whispered magic carried on the breeze. It is more than just a simple creature from the stream. It is a key to a hidden world, an emblem of the magic that threads through the very fabric of nature's oldest secrets. The river seemed to pause, as if holding its breath in suspense, watching intently as Kwame stood firm and boldly confronted the path that destiny had laid before him. Above, dark and menacing storm clouds gathered, swirling relentlessly, their presence heavy and ominous. These brewing tempests were not mere weather. They were nature's fierce judgment, a powerful reckoning etched in roaring thunderclaps and the relentless surge of the river's churning tides. Every ripple, every gust of wind echoed with the weight of the challenge Kwame faced, the world itself trembling as he dared to defy the forces aligned against him. Guardian of both fortune and fierce fury, Mami Wata holds her timeless reign far beneath the ocean's shimmering surface, presiding over a vast and mysterious kingdom filled with breathtaking beauty, lurking dangers, and infinite enigmas that captivate the curious and challenge the brave. Her dominion stretches endlessly beneath the waves, a realm where splendor and peril coexist and where the secrets of the deep are woven into an eternal tapestry of mesmerizing wonder and haunting mystery. As the first light of dawn gently spreads across the horizon, the river begins to stir, its surface shimmering as it whispers age-old secrets once more, carrying tales from the depths and the distant past. Kwame's story, carried by the currents and etched into the memory of the land, slowly fades into legend, a haunting, timeless warning delicately woven into the silvery threads of the water, its message flowing endlessly with the tides that rise and fall beneath the endless sky.